Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Vichy auctions based in France, and we're going to have a look at a selection of their latest auctions which are coming up. In fact, we're going to blitz through 3 auctions. So they have an auction coming up on the 25th, the 26th and the 27th of September. It's the 24th today. Each auction has about 400 lots, so it's a crazy amount of stuff. And if you watch my videos before, you know that I always rant about Vichy, about how they just sell too many things and everything's the same. So as I'm really short on time, we're just going to absolutely blitz through this and just pick out really key things if there's anything interesting. If there's not, we're just going to go through it. So basically 25% is the buyer's premium, so whatever the final hammer price is, you need to add that to the end. This is a French auction, so bear that in mind if you're bidding from outside of France, import, export, shipping, all of that kind of fun stuff. If you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like or comment, turn on notifications, etc, etc. And now we are literally just going to blitz through this as quickly as possible and see if there's anything interesting in these 3 days of auction. So a little bit different and hopefully less ranting from me. So we've got a few mandolins here, some interesting ones. However, we are not going to stop unless there is something exceptionally interesting here. These Gela style double soundboard ones here. A lot of this stuff is pretty similar to what we've seen in some of the other auctions. This is a kind of lower tier auction, so don't expect anything too crazy. Some weird violin stuff going on here. Some of this stuff looks kind of familiar. Let's have a look at this viola d'amore from around 1900. Anonymous work. Slightly interesting kind of F-holds or flaming swords they usually are with the viola d'amore. Kind of interesting depiction on the back. So yeah, curious one. 100 to 150 euros the estimate on that, so that is fairly interesting. Got some of these lap steels here, so that's pretty cool. A few guitars. So I think this first auction is mainly pluck stringed instruments with then some bowed stringed instruments at the end, and then the other 2 auctions I think are all kind of bowed stringed instruments, and they're likely to be the same generic kind of French stuff sold over and over again, I would assume. So we've got some more guitars here. Another classical guitar here though, with a double soundboard rather than mandolin. Romantic style guitar here by Giuseppe Puglisi, made in Catania. Nothing too crazy on that one. So German parlor. If you see anything interesting, feel free. I'll put the link to the auctions in the video description. You can have a look yourself. Like I said, a slightly lower tier instrument. Now we've got some wind instruments as well, flageolet and stuff like that. If we see anything super curious, we shall have a look. Otherwise, we are just blitzing our way through 2 flute heads. Interesting. Boxwood clarinet, very nice. All bits and pieces of clarinet. Some of these metal clarinets that they were making for a time. Hunting horn there, Thibourville branded. Fanfare horns, a whole load of bugles, cavalry, trumpets, etc. Fairly interesting, but nothing super sensational. But there's a lot of them, so if this is your thing, definitely check out this auction. Sax horns as well, they seem to see quite a few of those around. Helicon as well. Right, we're doing pretty well. Yeah, definitely blitzing through this. Alto horns. Good kind of romantic and chromatic accordions here. It's quite a nice accordion, that one. A whole load of these. These seem to be endless in the French auctions. Scottish bagpipe parts, that's kind of interesting. Raft zither from Africa, slightly curious. That's interesting. 40 euros estimate. Okay, it's kind of like one of these Epinette de Vosges kind of things. Zither type instruments. Interesting wind instrument collections here. Will definitely be of interest to some. Some more kind of world music instruments here. Random zithers as well. Bit of drums. Now we're on to some generic French instruments, I feel. So we can pretty much just go through most of this as well. I wonder if we're going to see a sea of bows, quite possibly. This is slightly different to the normal French stuff. Looks like kind of amateur work. Violin by J. Challard, Toulouse, 1910. Maybe that's a bit unfair, but it definitely looks a little bit odd in a few places. Some kind of more German stuff here, but nothing of particular note, just kind of first glimpse looking at the images. Of course, if you look at it later and want any opinions, feel free to let me know and I'll give them, although I wouldn't really say that it's going to be particularly valuable. Late 19th century violin with a label for Pandolfi, okay, decorated table and back. Yeah, you sometimes see these instruments floating about with those kind of decorations, just another fairly generic manufactured stuff, I think, normally. A few JTL stuff. German violin, 1800. That's fairly kind of nice, 600 euros. Nothing crazy there. It's all fairly similar. That's a bit weird. Experimental viola, late 19th century. Bassani label. That's slightly curious. 398 length of back, so 600 euros the estimate on that. I dare say we are missing some quite interesting items here, but I'm not going to get upset about it. 18th century violin there. It's actually fairly nice. French provincial violin even. Looks like it's had a bit of someone's tried to burn it for some reason. Some other German stuff here. 19th century Pillemont. That's fairly nice, 200 euros. So I think there's some good, solid opportunities in this auction for sure. But we are unfortunately on a land speed record. It feels good actually to blitz through this. French violin, second part of the 18th century Gaffino label. Yeah, that's quite nice. Quite like the corner work on that. 800 to 1100. 355 length of back. Sides replaced. Okay, interesting. Slightly curious. Let's have a look at the side of the... Oh yeah, okay, interesting. That is fairly curious. Obviously in a bit of a funny shape. That I do quite like that. Let's see, more stuff going on here. 20th century student double bass. That's pretty bizarre. What's going on with the top there? That's strange. That's a little bit odd. More miracle stuff. Yep, we're in that zone. Which I think is kind of interesting. A genie model. Maybe not. False alarm. We'll ignore that. Let's see what else is going on here. Miracle stuff. I mean, if you love French stuff, this is your dream zone. If you are not a fan, then this is a true nightmare. We're still on the stuff for the 25th, which is tomorrow. This is quite nice. Violin by Charles Flambeau, Miracle 1830. Yeah, I like that. A lot of this stuff is fairly similar, but 500 euros. I quite like it. Let's see what else. Cello, JTL cello. That could be fairly good for someone. Soundpost crack at the back though, so that's why it's the low price, but interesting. Some more German stuff. More German and French bits and pieces. Violin made around 1900, signed Lazarin. I think we've seen a few things with that signature before. 19th century miracle violin. light restorations. Right, what else we got here? More miracle stuff. Pillamont, nothing super jumping out. Let's hit this last page of the 25th 20th century violin with a peak label. Okay, see what else we got here. Okay, right, well that's it. So that's it. We've blitzed through the 25th of September auction. Let's blitz through the 26th. How many things do we have to blitz through on this? 400 again. Okay, cool. Some back to standard miracle fun as always. Let's see if we can spot anything particularly interesting. If I missed anything interesting, please let me know in the comments. I'm sure there is lots of stuff. 19th century violin with the Testore label. That's kind of interesting looking. I really love that kind of super wide kind of grain. Looks like a one piece top. That's pretty bold choice, sweeping down to the left. Kind of like it though. I think it's characterful. Right, we've got a load of bows here. I'm not really gonna go into bows so much, to be honest, looking through this stuff. I think there's endless amounts of these French bows, and some of them are going to be fairly nice. Ooh, interesting. 1/8 violin, that's quite nice. 1/8 violin. So I think these are good sales for bows. If you're into bows, definitely check out these Vichy sales. And we've got much of the same, just looking for anything that's slightly odd, slightly different. 19th century German violin there, it's pretty standard stuff, that, not too crazy. We're on to bows again. If we see any bows that are kind of interesting, we will stop, but otherwise we're just going to assume that it's just going to be much of the same. Interesting kind of top on that, like very bare clawry, unless someone's actively damaged it. More of this kind of miracle stuff here. Cellos, let's see if there's anything curious going on. Lots of miracle stuff. Okay, more bows here. And on to page 4. The blitz is going well. That's actually probably not a good comment to make. But yes, we are getting through this. Okay, violin by Joseph Francois Javier Quattaro Darou, 1830-1840s, €300 on that. That's pretty standard, but decent enough. Just so much, even going through this, blitzing through this, is it's a bit of a challenge, just to see if there's anything good. That's a quite nice cello, actually. Cello Presenda label, broken neck. Interesting kind of varnish crackle or failure on that. Quite like that. Curious F-holes. That's an interesting one. 1800 to 2000, one of the higher estimates so far in this auction as well. Quite like these old bows. Right, some more bits and pieces. Let's see if there's any interesting instruments here. There's some nice miracle stuff about. Let's see. Let's have a look at this one. Nicholas Bertolini. I think there's some really great opportunities for some good violins for students here, but they all need a bit of work for sure. Another double bass there, but nothing too crazy. This is cool. Cello made around 1950. Interesting. Bertuni label. That's quite wide, isn't it? Nice little decoration at the back. That's kind of interesting. 1500 to 2000. So there's some curious bits around. Page 6. Right, more bows. More musical stuff. Modern violin, Eastern Europe. Let's see what we can find. What else have we got here? Interesting decorated violin. Was it? Yeah, curious. Okay, French provincial violin, School of Chapuis. I'm a fan of. €800. That's an interesting one. More bows. Yeah, we're definitely on a non-bow adventure today. Actually, that's quite nice. Violin bow stick by Joseph Gould in amaret wood. Nice frog. €500. Okay. Interesting stamped odd. That's kind of interesting bow, that. €500. Let's see. 20th century violin. Various breaks. Yeah, lots of the same here, to be honest. But a few things jumping out as being a little bit more interesting. Some more bows here. Yeah, definitely some good bow opportunities. So that's quite nice. Violin bow from the Pajot School, 1840. Just a bit of a break there, I think. That's another interesting one there. Right, a few more instruments. Nothing too crazy. Let's see what else we got here. Some more bows. So I think we're going to finish on some bows. And a book and an instrument. Okay, fairly interesting. So there you go. We blitzed through the 26th of September. So now we're on to the 27th. Hurrah, the final day. And how many items? 398. Great, a little bit less than before. So let's blitz through. Anything good for the 27th? Let's have a look at this. German full-size violin. Hesketh label on that. Okay. Have they saved the best for last, or is it the same old, same old? So far it is looking pretty boring. More bows. Nice Charles Nicholas Bazar. Okay, oh, that's interesting. German violin bow, silver mounted. That's really odd. Eye, that's quite strange. Is that just a sticker over the eye? I think that looks really weird. That's kind of interesting adjuster as well. How odd. Let's see. More bows. Kind of interesting there. Right, double bass bow there. It's quite nice. Frechner bow, actually, that could be quite nice. Cello bow. That's nice, yeah, that's a good one. Right, small size violin, that's fine, we can ignore that. German violin, 20th century, let's just have a quick look. No, that's been messed around with, we'll ignore that. 19th century German, no, we'll just skip through. We've got to blitz through this. Can't spend all day looking at this stuff. Some more bows. See anything jumping out so far. I think I might do these lower tier auctions like this actually in the future. Just really blitz through and just pick out a few key things, because it's really not interesting to go through all of this stuff which is just literally the same. But a couple of interesting bows there, that's quite nice. Pierre Cugnot. Yeah, okay, that's got potential there. Needs a bit of TLC, but that's kind of an interesting one. That one as well. Also, that's quite nice. Yeah, a few good bows for sure. I mean, there's always good bows in these Vichy auctions. We need a bit of work there. Calsat violin there. That can be pretty nice. That one's a bit messed up. Oh, that's actually interesting on the back there. Yeah, okay, interesting. Looks like kind of painted, almost painted figure on that. That's curious. Well, we haven't seen any super nice instruments for a little while. I dare say that some of them have like some really amazing backs, but they haven't looked interesting enough for us to dive in yet. It's a nice Simon schoolbow. I like that kind of aggressive frog. Let's see a few good things here. Ooh, fairly similar there. 3/4 cello. Not really seeing anything super interesting so far. Unfortunately, we've slowed down a bit. Interesting is quiet. Let's see, more Mircore stuff. Late 18th century violin, probably German school. Okay, yeah, nice, kind of slightly better than usual lion there. It's fairly nice, actually. I might remember that for the thumbnail of the video. Got to find something interesting to put on. Another double bass there. Let's have a look at this 20th century Mircore violin JTL. It's a kind of odd model. German violin, the second part of the 18th century. It's in a bit of a state. Okay, that's quite nice. Funny adjuster there. Yeah, quite like that ironwood, kind of slightly aggressive looking. Okay, more bows. We're just gonna go through that. We're looking for some decent instruments somewhere. Maybe there's some. Okay, right, violin by Javier Portales, made in Valencia, 1958. Okay, it's fairly plain, a little bit rustic on the scroll, but anyway, makes a change to some of the other stuff. Okay, yeah, we're still seeing the same. Kind of some more bows here. 2 pages left. Are we going to find anything super interesting? That's an interesting cello bow there. Nice 3/4 bow there. See, more standard fare. It's composite violin from the end of the 18th century. Okay. More standard stuff there. Interesting viola there. So actually have a look at that just in case it's got something interesting going on. Okay, curious. Let's see, another double bass, but none of them have been particularly interesting there. Another modern cello there. Central Europe around 1950. A few more bows. Right, we're on to the last page now. Is it just bows? And we finish with the book. Well, there we go. We've absolutely blitzed through 3 days worth of instruments, so nearly 1,200 instruments, I think. A few odd things here and there, a few kind of decent bows. Nothing absolutely mind-blowing, to be quite honest, but definitely check them out if you're interested in this kind of stuff. I'll put links to all of these 3 auctions in the video description. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.